Hello, everybody out there. So for today's video, I wanted to do kind of a different video. Wanted to do a quick book review. I know I normally say quick for my videos and they end up being way too long, so we'll hopefully hope that this one goes by a little bit faster and I kind of disseminate the information at quicker speed. So the reason why I wanted to do the book reviews is at the beginning of the year, I had set out the goal that I wanted to be able to do or read rather one book per month. Obviously, I have succeeded in that goal for the first month, and if I'm able to read more than one book a month, then I'll do more than one video review a month as well, so we'll kind of see how it works out. The reason why I actually wanted to review these books and put it on YouTube is I honestly feel like the books I read are not fiction-based. They're going to be, in quotations, like self-help, even though I hate calling it that. So it's going to be like improvement within business, within work, starting your own business, relationships, family, spirituality, whatever it may be, fitness maybe. It's all going to be stuff that's helping myself improve, and I feel like my goal is to help a lot of people in this world. So I can probably do a couple of things. Number one is I can let you know that a book exists that maybe you never heard of. And number two, I can let you know right off the rip if you should be interested in reading it or not, and kind of like my overall thoughts. So maybe I can save you some time from not reading the book, or maybe cost you some time because you actually spend time reading the book and you actually get something like quality based out of it. So for the book that I chose to read in the month of January, it is called The Hidden Psychology of Social Networks by Joe Federer. So I actually chose the book, which I'm sure a lot of people can like put two and two together because I was starting a YouTube channel and starting to like create like a little bit of a brand in the beginning of the year. And I thought it was something interesting to kind of learn about because obviously if you're going to be any type successful on this planet at this point in time, you have to understand social media and how people actually think about it. That, and also I have a degree in psychology, so I enjoy seeing how people interact with things. And I think social media is another thing that I don't have a lot of knowledge, because when you get your degree in school, they don't really cover like how social media like really affects people and how people like interact with it. Like not really. Maybe they do now. It's been a few years, but I don't think that it's still that common because I don't think there's as many studies as there could be because social media has only been popularized in like the last 20 to 25 years. So as far as the book goes, to kind of give you like the basic line of what it's actually about, essentially Joe has worked, I believe, for Reddit, or it was kind of more of like a brand creator or creative for a brand, something like that. Like he created content on social medias. Overall, he does a really good job breaking down how people interact with social media on a very psychological level. He breaks down anything from like Facebook to Instagram to like live streaming to like Reddit, and there's another one he keeps on referencing that's like Reddit but a little bit crazier, and I can't remember the name of it, so I apologize, but it's in the book. So overall, kind of breaks down how people interact with them, how people think about them, and then also like obviously he's going to go over like how brands and companies need to interact online within each specific platform to have a better idea of like how to actually effectively reach their audience, whether it's through organic posts or whether it's through paid media. So he really kind of breaks that down. Obviously, it's all based on social media, so there's no like traditional advertising in there. It's all based off of social. Like there's also like Snapchat. He goes pretty much over everything, and kind of like how brands can capitalize their positions and grow their brands using ads in many different spaces. So as far as like the pros and cons, so pros, I definitely feel like if you are someone who is trying to create a brand, whether it is a small brand, if you're trying to make a business, whether it's a small business, medium business, like if you're trying to start a brand or a business, it's an interesting book to read. It'll give you some insight on like what to do and how to do it, and maybe like a little bit better idea of like where you should be spending your money, or at least how to be spending your money a little bit smarter. Obviously, he doesn't go down and like break down like a budget, but he does kind of like say like how to allocate it and like smarter ways to do it. Also, if you're a medium to a larger business, like if you're watching this video, it's hilarious, but if you do work for one or run one or whatever, then it is also a very good book as far as like how to use other larger brands, examples of how they connect with their audiences and grew their audiences in unique ways. And it kind of gives you ideas of like how to better actively engage an audience in social media, especially if you're a brand, because obviously from what he said and also how I feel, there's a lot of commercials and a lot of ads, and that shit gets really old. But if there's good quality content, good quality information, it doesn't feel as much like an ad, and it feels like someone being part of a community, or at least putting out content that's worth me watching for however long I watch it. So overall, I think it's really helpful for, like I said, like growing a brand, growing a company. I do think that there is some benefits there, 100,000%. As far as other pros, I definitely feel like his experience lends itself to help you kind of give you new ideas At the end of the book, he definitely breaks down some like different examples of like a startup brand, a startup company, which I know kind of sounds like the same thing, but like more of like a social media brand that is a company, but it's all online based, a brick and mortar new company, and like an established company. So it kind of gives you examples of like how he would recommend advertising on social media. For those examples, as well as like I said, he gives you a bunch of examples of like actual like ads and different campaigns that companies ran or businesses ran or even brands ran that were successful. So I think as far as that goes, like giving you kind of like new ideas is also very helpful, and like giving you like the framework, like a basic framework is helpful as well. As far as cons, I feel like if you are not someone who is actively working on developing a brand or business, or not someone who's actively working on developing not just developing a brand or a business, but someone who's also like maybe working like in like a social networking branch of a company, like you're not actively like working in that field, or you're not into marketing or advertising, or if you're just someone who's, I don't want to say an average person, but if you're just an average person who's just like looking for a book to read, it's definitely not what I would recommend. I definitely think that it is very much tailored only for people who either like really have some weird fascination with advertising and psychology, and like that's your stuff, or if, like I said, if you're a small brand company or even a large company, or someone who works in advertising marketing for those companies who wants to get a little bit more insight on how to effectively use social media for advertising and marketing purposes. The other big con I would say, aside from it just not being like practical for most people to read, which is kind of unfortunate because I feel like it would have been before I read it, and I want to read books that more people can read, but this one I guess is very, very tailored in my opinion. But what I would say also, in addition to, is maybe you're just like, okay, like I do have some interest in psychology and advertising. I do have some interest in like social media and how people interact with it and like what works and what doesn't. That still might not be enough to get you through this book, because there is a lot of parts of it that are very bland and dull. I'm not going to lie to you, that are kind of boring. I can also be honest, excuse me, and say that there's a lot of parts of the book that feel very like repetitive. I feel like there was 2 times, maybe 3 times, where like I was ready to put the book down because I literally was like, I feel like I have read this exact same paragraph or series of paragraphs, just worded differently or with different examples. And it got very dry, because I was like, I understand the concepts. I don't need to be like spoon-fed the concept 3 or 4 more times throughout the book, like, because I already got it. I get what you were saying. I read it the first time. I understood it. Like, I don't need it to be reinforced over and over and over and over, because it's a book. So it feels like it's just being filled up with repetitive stuff, so that the book is longer. I'm not going to lie. So as far as overall practicality, I feel like the book for someone who owns a business, or someone who is working on like building a business, building a brand, whatever, and wants to get improvement in this area, I feel like I would give it like a solid 7, 7.5, maybe even an 8. If you're an average person, I'm going to say that as far as like helpfulness, you're probably going to get like a 6, maybe a 5. It's just not as helpful for like you as an individual, like maybe like you as an individual building like a brand on social media or something like that. I don't think it's as helpful, in my personal humble opinion. As far as it goes, like overall rating, I would honestly say that I kind of think it's like a 7. Like, I think a solid 7 is like a fair number out of 10. So on a 1 to 10 scale, I think 7's fair. I didn't hate the book. I didn't love the book. Again, I would say if you don't fall into the category of who it's really for, I wouldn't read it, just because I don't think it's going to be something that you're going to get through, because it's not that exciting. So hopefully the next time I pick up a book and read it, hopefully it'll be a little more applicable for more people and more interesting for the overall population of people versus a very, like, I feel like a smaller niche of people, as well as just something that's a little more interesting, even if it is a specific niche, at least hopefully it's a little more interesting, and content is a little bit more driven and exciting. Anyways, guys, so that's what I have. At the end of the day, if you got any quality, if you got anything out of this video of quality, if you took anything away from it, if you did enjoy it, I would ask that you please share it. At the end of the day, I don't like to ask people to comment or subscribe. It's not what I'm going to do. If you want to do those things, you can. But please do share it if you did get any, like I said, any quality content out of it. If you think it'll help somebody else, please share it as well. This isn't really a funny video, but in the future, if I have a funny video and it'll make someone's day a little bit better, you can share that as well. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay healthy and stay safe. Bye.